Hi there, my name is Sue Leone. The biggest difference between my course shells and other courses you may have seen is that mine is not organized by time at all. It is organized by content modules. I first learned about learning modules in the early summer 2020 during a certified online instructor level 1 course that was hosted by the virtual learning community of the North Carolina Community College system. The only way I had ever been taught to organize an LMS course was by dated weekly folders, either calendar weeks, so there might be more than 16 folders, or by artificial weeks, which had exactly 1/16 of the course content in each of them. The assignment and quiz descriptions all had due dates in them. And each semester, you had to spend time editing all those folders and assignments for the current calendar dates and due dates. Sometimes you had to move things to the previous folder or the following week because break was a week earlier or later this semester than it was the last time you taught the course. And inevitably, there would be some assignments with accidental mismatches between the due date written in the description and the due date in the LMS, which caused no end of confusion to the students. With modules, the organizing folder titles contain no dates, so nothing needs to be edited once it's created. There are no due dates listed in the assignment descriptions because they're all listed somewhere else, and only that needs to be changed each semester, usually with the date management tool. Not only has organizing by topic instead of time saved me a lot of it, it's easier for students to narrow down where an assignment or a resource is located on the lessons page because they're only looking for relevant keywords, not trying to guess at what point in the semester did they encounter that. And the proof is in the pudding. These past 2 semesters of using the module format, my students have done better overall than in previous years using the weekly folder format of the same courses with the same assignments. They have been less stressed out, and they have carried more understanding during the semester, and they scored better on individual assignments and assessments. So let me show you around my shell. The bulk of the course is naturally on the lessons page. I like to include a link to my booking site for student appointments right at the top of this page. Under that, I have a variety of title-only items that remind students of upcoming breaks. I program those each semester to turn on and off at the appropriate times. I'm thinking of making them undated with a prompt to check the academic calendar PDF that I provide in my Universal Classroom Policies and Practices module, which I call Module 0. It would certainly require less maintenance than the dated versions of these reminder items. So here are the course modules. Ta-da! Before you click on a module name to enter the folder, you can see how many hours of official class time the module represents. That's for my management team and the college auditors. You can see a list of learning activities grouped by type and an estimate of how much actual time the module should take the average student. This real-time estimate is critical for student success because they are no longer spoon-fed the material on obviously weekly chunks. To reinforce their time management, the expected completion time for the module is also included in the module's type. To further foster personal time management, it is also important to give students module pacing information for the whole semester. Inside all modules, there is a module checklist that has short phrases describing the unscored and scored learning activities grouped by student learning objective. That checklist also repeats the number of hours it will take to complete the material in the module. Next is a module purpose statement. An embedded video introduction to the module is a great way to show your students that you exist, you're a person. And I'm working little by little to add one of those to all of my modules. The bulk of the real estate inside a module is taken up by the student learning objective folders themselves. These are titled with the SLO number and text from the syllabus, along with the expected completion time of the folder. On the cover of each, there is, again, the official self-guided class time for the auditors and the expected completion time for the students. The learning activities on the SLO folders are displayed in a table pasted directly from my master pacing planning worksheet in Excel. Each learning activity is labeled with information that will help students determine on which activity to focus their time and energy, in case those are limited due to other obligations. The last item in each module is a course link to the next module. This link precludes students having to navigate back up 1 or 2 levels to move on to the next folder or module. This is really just marketing 101. The easier it is for the students to keep working, the longer they will do so, especially as more and more students access the LMS on mobile devices where it's harder to go back in the folder tree. And frankly, it's easier for me too. Inside each SLO folder, the first item is that same SLO checklist that was on the module checklist. And yes, it also tells the expected completion time for the learning activities in the SLO folder. Following the checklist are the curated, preparatory, and scored learning activities in their optimal learning sequence. At the bottom of each SLO folder is another link to the next folder or module as appropriate. Again, just trying to keep them in the store longer so they'll buy more stuff, so to speak. Because visual consistency is of paramount importance in any graphic design endeavor, including online hybrid and blended course delivery, all my assignments, quizzes, and tests have their own respective description templates. Color coding, font sizing, and table formatting are consistent throughout so that students can gain information about the item without me having to add more words. It's like visual vocabulary for logistical information. I mentioned this before, but my due dates are only shown on the assignment and quiz submission pages and on the calendar tool. Point values are only shown on the submission pages and the tables on the cover of each SLO folder. Omitting them from the description, especially the due date, has eliminated the semesterly editing of every stinking description and folder that I was doing before. Now I can focus my time on clarifying the procedures themselves. And students have 0 questions about when something is due because there are never any accidentally mismatched due dates. I do another thing that you may not have seen before. Following on-course guidelines, my point values for assignments, CAD drawings, and quizzes start out small and get larger as the semester progresses. This helps students avoid getting into an unrecoverably deep hole grade-wise early in the semester, but is especially helpful to new college students who are more likely to not have good independent time management routines and habits. So there you have it, my ideal course shell. It is, of course, always evolving, but all in all, this course design works well for my students and removes a lot of administrative chores from my plate. Modules are how we encounter information in the professional development courses and online workshops that we take. And I hope you will give them a try to see how they can benefit you and your students. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to give me a shout on Teams chat or email. Thanks. Happy teaching.